don't even know like did I start? Yeah, recording, right. So I'm not good at doing intros, so guess what? I'm
That's
not.
cool.
All right, so yeah. This is actually Patterns podcast, and this is Corey Fox. And so you were just telling me you were releasing an EP March 23rd, right?
March 26th, yes.
26. All right.
Yeah,
So yeah,
hopefully.
let's talk about it. So what's
Yeah.
the idea? So you were saying like 5 tracks, maybe possibly releasing a few more EPs this year.
Yes, yes. Yeah, of course,
Hang
this
on.
is to go backtrack. Yeah, my name is Corey Fox, but I go by the name of King Form. Yeah, sorry for that.
All right.
Yeah, my name is Corey Fox, but I go by the name of King Form. Yeah.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can edit this out if you want.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I was saying I go by King Form. That's what I go by my producer name. But Corey Fox is like my name, obviously, but I definitely, as a producer, I go by King Form. I thought that it was something that was cool. It was like something my dad gave me. It's like a name he gave me because I play golf a lot.
Yeah.
And I had a whack producer name before then. It was my producer name was like Soldier, and I was like, that's not really original. So I was like, let me call myself King Form. I think it was pretty original at the time, and a lot of people were using the moniker King at the time. It was
Yeah.
always like Little Wayne this or Little Fizz or something like that, or
Yeah.
Young this or Young that. So I was like, if I start my name with King, pretty much a more powerful name. So
Indeed.
I call myself King Form.
And why form?
Because of the golf swing, that's had a pretty golf swing. So
Oh, nice.
because I hold the form long, he's called me King Form. So that's why I stuck with King Form.
Yeah, I guess
Pretty simple.
Like
Yeah.
can you just lower your camera maybe a little bit because
Yeah.
like your mouth is cut.
Right there.
All right. Star Wars T-shirt.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah, me too actually. Like I mean, it's not exactly my generation, but whatever.
I mean, I'm an old guy.
Yeah.
I look young, but I'm pretty old.
Yeah. Like
I'm like 38. Gonna be 39 years old.
That's fine. I'm 42.
I wouldn't think that. I would have thought. Since you said that your bracket, your age bracket, I thought you would have been like 30.
Oh no, I'm for. I was born in '78.
Okay, but that's your era. That's when Star Wars came out, I think.
Yeah, like I came out around the same time as the movie, but I was obviously too young. But yeah, I kind of grew up like I remember like the prequels and all the drama and whatnot. I like the prequels actually.
Yeah, absolutely. The favorite one was Empire Strikes Back because it was more darker.
Like I really like was it like the third like episode 3, Return of the Sith something like when
Return of the Jedi.
no episode 3
well.
not six,
Yeah.
not 6 like the when Anakin becomes Darth Vader.
Yes, Revenge of the Sith, I believe.
Yes, something like that. Yeah, we're not as big a fan as we pretend.
Yeah. But I still enjoy him though. I still enjoy the movie. I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan, but I do love the series. So
no, I mean
I'm sure I'm getting my titles mixed up.
No, but that's the same with music. Sometimes you just dig into some music and you're like, maybe you know the title of the track, but you don't really know who made it. Like it's a title. It kind of matters, but it kind of doesn't. So
yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, your EP. So can we hear a little bit?
Oh, EP? Yeah, sure, man.
Hang on, I'm just gonna allow you to share audio. So if you want to share audio, so on the bottom you have share screen. If you click that, you have a window that opens. You click on advanced tab, and then you have music or computer sound only. Then you click that, and then you click share.
Okay.
It should work.
Let me do that one sec. Oh man, see what I got here. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna load up the track. This could be one sec. If I could.
Yeah, because as I was saying before I started recording, like I don't know. I know a few, like not personally. I don't know anyone in Third Stones. Like you know, obviously we had the chat with Rich a few days ago, and but I know some of the music because my friend Cherie, she has a YouTube channel. She made a couple of playlists using tracks from the label. So I got that. This is how I got to know the music and Rich also. So yeah, one thing led to another.
I hope I did this right. I haven't done this in a minute.
All right, so you're sharing your screen. I'm not sure you're sharing the sound.
Yeah, but like at this particular computer though, I'm gonna have to get a new one.
Yeah.
I pressed something wrong. I know I did whiteboard. That was silly.
All right.
But no, this particular computer I'm gonna change in a minute. Because this thing is
Yeah, me too. Actually, yeah. Like I got this laptop. I need a laptop now. I need a desktop. Like I started doing like 3D, you know, stuff like that, and like a laptop isn't gonna cut it.
Right, because I'm on a laptop myself, and I have an iMac in the back, which my fiance is not even using, and she said I can have it. So I'm gonna pretty much transfer everything to the iMac.
Oh, nice.
Maybe on that, pretty much not touch. Okay, let me see what I have here. I think it's this one. Let me know if you can hear it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
远去了，我的爱不再回来，我看不到终点。
The dump rights. The dump rights. The dump rights. The dump rights. The dump rights.
Yeah.
The dump.
Yep.
I like that ending actually.
Actually, that wasn't a part of the track. I know what.
It would be perfect like interlude.
Yeah. That's not a part of the track. I don't know what that was.
Nowadays, especially, like I like to put some kind of nonsense. So yeah, that was intense. That was really like king-like.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
So yeah. How about you walk me through like how did you, if you remember, like I don't know, like how did you get into making music and up until that point?
Oh yeah. Okay. So of course I'm a big hip hop fan. And I always knew of DJ Premier and Pete Rock and Gangstar and Wu Tang and all them type of guys.
And I
always was fascinated with that type of music, even though I'm actually originally from the Bahamas.
Yeah.
I'm originally from the Bahamas, Nassau, Bahamas to be exact. And I just gravitated more to that East Coast boom bap sound.
Yeah,
and I guess
classic,
I just was fascinated with it.
Stuff like
that. Yeah. DJ Premier's the GOAT. DJ Premier's the GOAT.
Like so, people start, always debating like who originated like lo-fi hip hop and stuff like that, and I'm like,
right,
like nobody ever mentioned DJ Premier.
Yeah, nobody really does. I think the hardcore hip hop heads actually would say DJ Premier is the GOAT.
I suspect like many of the young kids might not even know who he is.
No, I don't think so either. I think if it comes to the boom bap-ish era, a lot of lo-fi enthusiasts know Jay Dilla from Slum Village. They might know him.
Yeah.
Even though I really don't consider him a lo-fi, because lo-fi is could be such a weird thing to label, because Jay Dilla beats was always so big, it was never lo-fi-ish. But boom bap, but lo-fi stands from boom bap, so it kind of like mixes together. And I think lo-fi is like the modern version of bap, which I actually
we had this conversation the other day. Like basically, like even when you take the gear that's used, like old Akai sampler stuff like that, SP1200, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's basically what people used because it was cheap and available at the time, and it wasn't like even the Tascam 4-track cassette recorder. Like, this is all you could ever get. If you were broke and just wanted to record some music, you couldn't afford a studio. So this is what you got, and this is what made the sounds. You know what it is, like MPC sampler, stuff like that, SP 202, 303. That's maybe more early 2000s era, but it's the same principle behind that. And I can tell by the track that you just listened, I can tell the influence for sure. It's not easy to do stuff like that. I remember because I started off as a traditional musician. Like I was playing the piano, a little bit of guitar. I had a rock band in junior high, whatever.
Right.
And even though like it was weird because I always had some hip hop in my life, even at the time where it was like, oh, this is not real music. This is not real musicians, and I was one of these guys. And but even though I was saying that, I was still listening to I was more of a West Coast kind of guy, the Dre, Snoop, Warren G, stuff like that, Domino, and and that ties more into that piano playing kind of. It sounded more like real music to my ears. But even though I really got deep into Cypress Hill, like first 3 albums, stuff like that. But generally more West Coast. I started to appreciate East Coast stuff later on, when I actually recognized that this is not only actual music, but it's something incredibly new.
Yeah.
We're basically doing the same thing for the last few hundred years, roughly speaking.
Roughly speaking, yeah.
And then you had these people who didn't have the single idea of how to make music. They just wanted to make music.
Yeah.
And they couldn't play the piano. They couldn't, go to music school, and they got, turntables, drum machine that were cheap enough, that nobody wanted, and they, let's just do that. Let's just use that and make some music. And then they created something entirely new that didn't exist before. Like nobody was making music like that before.
Yeah.
And this wasn't a thing, it wasn't. This is probably the reason why so many traditional musicians were like, oh, this isn't music, because it didn't. You had 1,001 reasons to deny the legitimacy, but what it was, at least to me, was arrogance.
Yeah,
because I didn't understand, and so because I didn't understand, I thought it was bad, and I wanted to tell. Well, but to be fair, I was like, I don't know, 15, 14. So yeah. I mean, you're allowed to be wrong sometimes. So yeah, so you started off listening to DJ Premier, and so that's early 90s. Like classic.
Yeah, I'll say around 95, 94, 95. It's my musical background is kind of similar to yours in a sense, because I started off in the choir. I used to sing a lot, and I did
Nice.
take piano lessons. That's what got me into music. Because
Yeah.
I wasn't really into music like that until my mom pushed me to join the choir at the church and the schools. So
Nice.
that's how I got into music. And as far as hip hop, it was weird because I grew up in a Christian household, so I listened to gospel hip hop. I didn't really listen to secular hip hop. And the first taste I got to listen to secular hip hop was actually Notorious B.I.G. One More Chance remix. When I heard, you ever heard that song before? The One More Chance remix?
I probably have, but not. It's the kind of stuff like you listen. I never really was into Notorious Big that much.
Okay.
Because because of the era, and at the time I was more into
the musicality.
I caught up later on when I really got into making beats. Funny story, I actually got into making beats because I was on the forum, and I was like, oh, this is I'm a real musician. This is going to be easy for me, and I started making beats.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to prove like a real musician, and it was utter shit. It wasn't good. Like it was really really bad.
Yeah.
And it caught me off guard. I was like, oh, so maybe I'm wrong, So yeah, sorry I cut you off.
No, that's perfectly fine. I mean, it makes sense because when I started making beats, I'll tell you, let me backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
I started making beats even though I was a fan of hip hop. When I heard Jedi Mind Trick's sophomore album, Bottom by Design, that's what got me into want me to be a producer. Because when I heard that album, I was completely blown away. I was a big Wu-Tang head, and when the W came out, the third album, it wasn't the same as Enter the 36 Chambers and the Wu-Tang Forever double CD. So the Wu-Tang Clan was kind of like phasing off a little bit with the W third album, but when Jedi Mind Tricks came with the Bottom by Design software album, I was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
I said I want to be like that guy. So I was like, okay, I need to be a producer. I need to make beats. But I was in college and I was broke.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford the Akai MPCs and the SP1200s and the
SP1200 was already very expensive back then.
I know it was like $1,000s, and I wanted an ASR 10 because even though DJ Premier is the go to me, Stoop, the Enemy of Mankind is my favorite producer.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be like him. So I wanted to get an ASR 10, but I couldn't afford an ASR 10 because they're expensive, and I just couldn't afford it. So when Little Brother came out, Ninth Wonder was using the FL Studio or the Fruity Loops.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I can make beats on a software? I was like, I got a computer. Why not? So I know, unfortunately, I did get the crack. I did get the crack version.
Yeah.
So that's how I started making.
You were broke.
Oh, super broke.
I mean, it's that's the thing. Like, what's the alternative? Not make music? And obviously, I'm not condoning stuff like that.
Right. Me neither.
I mean, if you have this insight, and it's funny you mentioned you sung in a choir, because I actually also sung in a choir. Like, even like relatively recently, I joined a church choir maybe 5 years ago and spent some time there, and it was nice. But when you have this kind of a calling, and there's nothing that can stop you from doing that. Right.
I just wanted to make music so badly. I was going to do whatever I could, as long as I didn't go to jail for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right now, I definitely bought FL Studio. I say now I can afford FL Studio. So I prefer to buy it. So now I have the real version.
Yeah.
FL Studio. I have like FL Studio 20. But yeah, I've been producing since Little Brothers, the Listening album came out, which is, I think, is 2002, 2003. That's when I started producing.
Yeah, I mean, that's if there was any time when it was a great time to start producing, it was then.
Yes.
Because there was so many inspiring, because basically it was the pinnacle of what I would call hip hop golden era. I'm not to say today's hip hop is it's a different thing. Like by the beginning of the 2000s, like hip hop really got like there was no question anymore. It was music, and there
Yes.
was amazing quality music within that genre of music, and it started to become universally recognized by everyone. You started to have I remember I think it was Guru Jazz Mataz
Yes,
album,
Jazz and Taz. Yep.
where jazz musicians would jam with on hip hop beats, and it kind of you know uh, branched off. After that, you had I was really deep into neo soul. I still am actually. At the time,
Yeah.
Bizarre, D'Angelo, Badu.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
That's
Mm-hmm.
that's some of the best modern music. Like when it comes to like soul music, like
Yeah.
music from the soul, like something that you would get so deep into. And I think even though she's widely recognized as one of the greats, I still believe like Erykah Badu is underrated. As pardon
I
my
think that's right.
French. You know?
I think it's underrated too. She has a really distinct voice. It's not the most powerful voice, but it works well for her, and she sings within her range, and her voice just meshes well with the instrumentation that's behind her.
Yeah.
So I think she's amazing.
It's like, to me, it's like she's like the Bjork of hip hop at that level, you know? Just amazingly deep music and voice, and like even like the whole universe. And that's one thing, like many artists, like recently we had this like Daft Punk separated.
Unfortunately, man,
Yeah.
that broke my heart. I understand.
It didn't really broke mine. I was like, oh, they were still together, because I don't
Oh
know what
yeah,
they were doing. Like I
they
remember
did some with the weekend. They did some with the weekend on Starboy. They did like 2 tracks for his album.
yeah, but it's like, to me, like maybe it's an unpopular opinion. Like you had like ever since like when they started to because I don't know what music of theirs really I cannot remember anything that they did that really struck me as
Okay.
major as much as their first 2 3 albums.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that was groundbreaking, you know.
Yes, it
and
was.
and, and of course that to my point. Like right now, like Badu's gonna release an album, you're gonna notice, you're gonna know, you're gonna listen to it, you're gonna, it's not about, for you can tell, like and I'm not, bashing on Daft Punk. I really love. I actually paid them homage in one of my one of my tracks last year.
Okay.
It's really like I have amazing memories.
Especially
And
that one more time song. I love that one more time.
I'm really into what's my what's the name again with the name something about us. I think that's my favorite Daft Punk track.
What was that?
It's something about us.
Something about us?
Yeah, it's something like really really chill with a song. It might not be the last time, and I don't know if you can play that, but and you have this kind of synth solo at the end, and it's like the ba ba da ba 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 da ba 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 da ba
That
ba
sounds
ba
familiar.
ba ba. And I actually took this solo and put it at the end of one of my tracks last year, and the track name was like about us and something,
Yeah.
That's on track. So yeah, but like when I think about Badu, to go back to her,
Yeah.
like she's always doing something interesting to us, and first and foremost, it seems to her, It's all about the music. It's not about the success. It's not about being popular. Like
Right.
It was more of an accident. I guess not. Like she's probably like a huge hustler, like working hard all the time. But you have this talent, and I don't know, like her music has something special. Like it's deeper than most of the rest. I didn't catch it at first. I was like, yeah, all right, this is groovy. But then as I grew older and got back to some music, I was like, oh, these are so many layers, and you can tell like she's a student of the craft and a master at the same time. And, like, and she takes it. Hang on.
Song, man. I heard. Oh no, 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 no. Yeah, I like that one. That was the jam.
That's yeah. I mean, you can take like. I'm not following her right now. I don't know when's the last time she released. I know she makes some live sessions and whatnot.
I think the one I knew about was the New America Part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Those were the ones I actually knew because I know Madlib and Ninth Wonder and I think Jay Dilla produced some tracks on there. They were sick tracks though.
Yeah.
They did that album. They killed the album. She even killed the album.
But that's the kind of album you definitely need like several years to really appreciate to the fullest extent of the quality of the music, and it's great. And after that, she did a telephone themed album, where she did a cover of what was that huge hit?
I didn't even know she did a cover song.
Yeah. So, what was that Drake? Phone call or whatever. Like
what do you mean the cover from one of Erykah Badu's songs?
Drake? No. Badu covered that one. It was a huge hit.
Oh. Okay. And I didn't hear that.
Oh, you should. Yeah, you
I didn't check that out. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the whole EP is just like so. Basically at the beginning of the song, it's pretty much the same beat. She sings the same stuff. And there's some break, towards the end, and then it gets like deep into kind of neo soul Rhodes playing and jazzy stuff and more like interesting chord progression, and she like the whole thing flips, but with the same melody, same lyrics and stuff. But I have chills just talking about it. Like I wish I could play it for you right now, but yeah, YouTube's not gonna like that.
Yeah, I'm actually while you telling me that, I was trying to listen to it on my headphones. I have Spotify up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's right now. I'm looking at Spotify, and I don't know if it's the "But You Can't Use My Phone" mixtape.
Yeah, that's the one.
And I listened to the first track, and that thing is smooth. That thing is buttery, man. Yeah. That thing is a buttery track. Yeah. Can't use my phone. Woo! I see why you like that one.
And there's some of the tracks are so fucking deep. Like it's and I really love like. Yeah, I haven't seen Badu. A few friends of mine, because they have a great like jazz festival in Holland, and like, if you go there, like you have D'Angelo, Badu, Bilal plays there, what's the piano player? Oh man, I smoke too much weed. He's a great, huge jazz piano player. And he does
Robert Glasper?
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe you've seen like on YouTube. It's not on YouTube anymore. That's such a shame. You had this concert. You had an orchestra. You had Bilal. You had Lala Hathaway, and it was a huge concert. That was in Holland. That was that festival, North Sea Jazz.
Okay, that's dope.
I never had the chance to actually go there, but a few of my friends, like bandmates, used to go there every year. I did see Roy Hargrove, RH Factor, live. That was completely like two drummers on stage playing exactly the same beat, like just for the sake of it. Like this was something. And I saw D'Angelo. I was first row in Germany on the last album. I was like, I'm glad I saw him. Same with Roy Hargrove, because unfortunately, like he left us. That was sad. It wasn't expected, because and yeah, but that, to my point. Like this is like neo soul kind of took a lot from hip hop.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of overlap. So I don't know if I would consider it the same thing, but it's the same idea. Most of the same people, even people like Jazzy Jeff.
But say who's the father of neo soul though? Who say the father of neo soul is? They say Jay Dilla's the father of neo soul, but people say he's the father of lo-fi. but actually, Jay Dilla actually is the one that created neo soul.
Like technically?
Yeah.
How so?
I don't know if I'm accurate, but I think that even though he was sampling, he played keys too.
Yeah.
So if you listen to the Erykah Badu Mama's Gun, he have a track on there. Let me see if I can find it. It's called Didn't You Know?
Yeah.
That's Jay Dilla.
Yeah.
That's JD. And he killed it.
Yeah.
But a sample, but that wasn't a sample though. But he plays keys too. And I think because of that sound that he created for Erykah was what stemmed the neo soul genre. And that's just that's what I believe.
The line is, I think the line to when neo soul actually originated is much blurry though.
Yeah, like lo-fi.
It's because you can take you can go back 20 years from Didn't You Know?
So long. That's so long. Oh my God. So
yeah, like
been that long.
We were born. Like it's just more modernized soul music, because nobody does what they used to call soul music. Now it's neo soul because it's new soul.
Exactly.
But it's and it took from hip hop for sure. Because yeah, that's so interesting actually to discuss about this, because it's it's part of history, and because even like hip hop classics, you had soul samples from soul music, and at some point, like when you take the very beginning of hip hop culture, like with DJs and MCs. Like it's slowly, gradually evolved from that to more and more music instruments in being involved. And by music instruments, I don't necessarily mean a piano or guitar. It can be a sampler, it can be a drum machine, it can be whatever you use to make music with, but in a way that the artist would more and more appropriate, because like it started off, as far as I know, by MCs playing on disco records B-sides,
right?
Instrumentals, and then from there, like started to create beats with just to take some parts of the vinyl, the record, and put them together in a different way than they originally are. Then we had the samplers, and at some point, like people were like, oh, maybe I can try to replay that sample on the piano and change a few things. And before you had full on hip hop bands on stage, and so it diverged a little bit, because now even jazz takes modern jazz takes a lot from hip hop.
Yeah,
this is how strong, like, and how major, like it's and I would say hip hop and house music, because they're really close also, and like basically everything modern, like mainstream today, like maybe not everything except for rock and stuff like that, but everything else takes from what originated, with samplers and B-sides and people who had no idea how to make music and just wanted to make music. And
Right.
that's incredible when you think about it, because there's this force that compels you to create something that pragmatically doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's like singing. It's like la 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 la. Why the fuck would you do that?
Right.
But it shouldn't make sense, But it does, when you start studying. Actually, you realize, it can't but make sense, and at a deeper level, nonetheless. And but hip hop and house music, like we were born, early 80s, late 70s, right? So we actually witnessed the birth of a new genre, of a new way of creating music. Because today, how many, like, if you go on forums and Facebook groups, like, take 100. I don't really like the term producer, but
Okay.
I live with it. Take 100 producers and try to figure out how many have formal, musical training. Almost no one.
Almost, yeah.
And you listen to some of the stuff that comes out, and you're like, this is deep. This is good, high quality, meaningful, music. And that's made in a way that even how you like. Let's get into. So how do you make music?
Well, right now, like I said, actually I have FL Studio, and then I use, of course, I'm a sample based producer, but I do use sounds on top of the samples to make it a little more bigger than it originally is. So I do use like a lot of plugins. I use a lot of Spitfire. You ever heard of Spitfire?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not really a dog guy kind of guy.
You know what?
I'm not
not a dog guy.
Yeah, not really. I use Ableton, but it's mostly for MIDI sequencing and mixing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Spitfire is they're more like a film composer company that actually uses plugins that actually has real sounds. So if you wanted to say a real violin, you're not gonna get that cheap sounding violin that you get on FL Studio or any other DAW. You're gonna get real authentic string sounds, real
like
piano.
In Contact?
Yeah, something like Contact, but for me, it's much more real because most of the stuff that you hear on movies, like movie scores, they're done with Spitfire.
Oh, nice.
And there's no big orchestra in the back. Doing big composers.
It's so expensive.
Yeah. These guys are using FL Studio and Ableton Live, using plugins that sound like actual orchestras.
Actually, I do too. Sometimes I don't do that often, but I got a couple libraries a while back, and because I'm really into, like, I got into classical like when I was 32, 33, and I really wanted to learn how to use this kind of library to compose classical music, and then I started integrating stuff like that to more modern kind of music. So I'm using like what's the name? I think in Burning Strings. It's a library on Contact. But I didn't know about Spitfire. I just was looking for a library, and many people recommended this one, so I got this one, and I'm very happy with it. It's really good. And they have violins, cello, whatever, and all the articulations. It's very difficult to program. It's very tedious, but when done right, it's great. So you're using FL Studio with Spitfire and on top of samples?
Right. Yeah, I'm more sample based, so of course I'll get my samples from TrackLib. I am actually, and then just to backtrack a little bit, I am in a community called Sidechain Society. Yeah. That's spearheaded by Stolen Drums, if you know Stolen Drums.
I've heard of Sidechain Society.
Yeah, I'm a part of their crew too. Yeah. So it's just a bunch of producers, spearheaded by Stolen Drums. We talk about different techniques as far as making beats and whatnot, or how to market your music.
Yeah.
So
nice.
with that particular society or crew, I do get like a lot of tools from them, or they recommend tools for me.
Yeah.
So Spitfire was one of them, and that changed the game for me. But besides samples, definitely Spitfire, definitely native instruments. I do use of course other people's drums. I use breaks, but I use other people's drums because I did buy Apollo Brown's Dirt in the Cracks drums. I love his drums, by the way. Oh, speaking of Apollo Brown, I have a story about Apollo Brown. I don't know if you know. Are you a fan of Apollo Brown?
I don't know, honestly.
You don't know Apollo Brown?
Yeah, I kind of live in a hole. I know a lot of things, but some things that everybody should know, I don't. So that's sorry.
Oh, it's cool. Apollo Brown. Well, this okay. As far as producing, even though, as I said before, even though Jedi Mind Tricks got me into production, I was still whack. I was still trying to make beats, and my beats were whack as hell.
It was almost impossible to do anything good on software back then, because it was very limited.
But some guys, but I guess because I was by myself, I didn't have anybody to teach me, or it was no YouTube at the time. That's the thing. It was no YouTube.
Yeah, nothing.
So I had to figure it out on my own. And then, of course, when YouTube came about, then I started learning how to make beats.
Like a few forums.
But, yeah, or in a forum or something like that. But when I heard Apollo Brown's 2 mixtapes, which was Skill Trade and Make Do, I was like, I see how he's making the beats. That's like, okay, I can see it in my head. Let me make beats like him, but don't try to copy him. So I actually started making beats really good by listening to his mixtapes and his beat tapes.
Yeah, trying to emulate.
Yeah, trying to emulate. But that's the only way I think it's best to learn anyway, is to emulate. And then, of course, as time goes on, then you could come with your own style.
Yeah, learn the tools and then pick the tools that fit you best.
Yeah.
As you go along, it's a process, and like nobody's like some people just get into it and are really good right now, but at the same time you have all these tutorials and stuff, like you can really get a head start. But back in the early 2000s, like you barely had, like I don't know when YouTube started, but if it was there, it wasn't.
It wasn't like now it is now.
Yeah,
oh no, hell no! It wasn't as clear as it was back then. And nobody's making beat tutorials. It was just somebody just posting random crap, like flipping over or going on a rooftop and doing backflips. It was nothing educational.
I don't even remember YouTube at the beginning. I don't remember when I got on it, but now, just like this also, like, come on, this changed everything. Like the internet and what we have right now and the music, like you can give me names of producers I've never heard who made mind-blowing music, and I can spend the next 6 months listening to just that, and I can start right now in a minute. I don't have to go to the record store. I just go on YouTube, and I like YouTube algorithm.
Yeah,
it's
I get my beats. I get my samples from there, from YouTube mainly as well.
Yeah, you can get a lot of stuff from YouTube.
Like Vinyl Frontier. If you go to Vinyl Frontier, you type in Vinyl Frontier and YouTube, they have a slew of samples that you can pull.
And I'm wondering, does YouTube also bring you to that obscure, mid-70s Japanese fusion album?
I won't be surprised.
Never happened to you so far?
Oh, that by finding any fusion Japanese type albums?
Because I don't know, like every time I spend some time on YouTube listening to music, sometimes often just put it on autoplay.
Okay.
While I'm doing something else, and I if I do this long enough, I usually end up on some Japanese fusion, jazz fusion band from the 80s or 70s. That's amazing music that I've never heard of. And you look in the comments, and it's nothing but people who were brought there by YouTube algorithm. Like,
I didn't know that. Never happened to me ever.
Yeah, I need to send you some links.
Yes, please do. I like to sample them.
Yeah,
I'll check them out for sure.
But I think it's from another artist from this song actually blew my mind. This track is from Davnik, and the track is called Old School Romance.
Yeah, Davnik is dope, man. The whole crew is dope, but Davnik is dope.
Yeah,
Davnik is dope as hell.
But that's like I found this like where the sample is coming from, and it's a Japanese, like that kind of Japanese obscure stuff that you've never heard of, and it's and I love what he actually did with it, because you can recognize the sample, but it's definitely not the same music. Like Davnik version, it's much more intense. You have the 808 on top that's really putting everything together, and I really want to say I actually prefer Davnik, interpretation on the sample, but it's interesting to like there's like if you like sampling like old Japanese jazz. I don't know if you're familiar at all with Japanese music actually.
No, I have not, but I again because it sounds pretty interesting.
Dude, there's a world of wonder, and I was fortunate enough to spend some time there, and so I'm and that's the thing. Like they kind of like to keep their culture, like music and stuff, to themselves a lot. It's kind of protectionism.
I get it,
which is a bit too bad, but at the same time, like I understand also why people can get put off by the language barrier or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you're probably familiar with the traditional Japanese work ethic,
Yeah.
Like,
I am.
And also like after the Second World War, like most of what Japan did was copy the US. Car industry, whatever, and also music. But as they copied, they integrated it and kind of modified it to fit their own taste.
Right.
But the thing is, like with the work ethic, and you can tell, by talking to Japanese musicians, like, and the way, like quality-wise, it's right up there. Like you can think of the most mind-blowing music from the US or UK or wherever. This exists, in Japanese music. It's not subpar or anything. It's and like it's widely recognized now with producers like New Jabez, amongst others. But if you really get into even like mid 90s, late early 2000s stuff like that, there's some amazing music, hip hop and soul and but in Japanese, which sounds, it's a journey, on its own, like Japanese language. It's actually fairly easy to learn how to speak, the basic structure and syntax.
Okay.
And you could learn just enough, and that adds another layer because it works in very different ways, than English or French for that matter. You have all these different levels of language, and by how which level you pick, the meaning changes. Like the not the meaning, but the perception of what you're singing changes depending on which level you choose to write your lyrics on. And so you have that level, and it's very musical language also, because you have like in total you have 46 syllables.
Okay.
That's it.
Wow.
So it's actually fairly easy to speak because you don't have many sounds to learn.
Right.
That's that's all that you have. That's all that you ever need in Japanese. And you can say, like reading and writing, it's a different story. This is this needs work, and I could read a little bit, write a little bit back then, but if you don't practice every day, it goes away.
Lose it. Yeah.
But the language in itself, like spoken just enough to understand, and talk to people, you can learn this in a year. You go to Japan and like nobody's going to give you any slack because you're not using the proper, level of language. Like, oh, it's just going to be, oh, you speak Japanese, that's great. So yeah, and the music, like if you're not at all into Japanese music, man, I need to send you some stuff because
please do. I like check it out.
Yeah, like whether it's more like old school soul, jazz fusion, rhythm and blues and stuff like that, or more modern, hip hop, stuff, electro. I don't know. So yeah, we just got on tangent.
That's okay, man. I'm down. It's actually beautiful, man. Because
I wasn't expecting that actually. I wasn't expecting anything because usually I chat, on Messenger or whatnot before we do that kind of stuff, and we just reached out to each other like today or yesterday. And,
I think yesterday,
Today you're like, all right, let's do this today. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm down.
And we get to know each other, and I'm blown away because every time, like especially nowadays, every time I meet someone here, like doing this format, we have so much things in common, like small details and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You sang in a choir, we have kind of the similar story and what we were listening. I was maybe more West Coast, you were more East Coast, but it's kind of the same story, and
right.
Odd ways. Like I don't know if you're I don't know. People say spiritual or religious or whatever.
Yeah, I am.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I am too. Actually, it's. I started off being atheist, and then I was like, I'm more like a spiritual, like not religious, and I got more into religion, but with a different take, like another. We could get into that maybe privately.
Oh yeah. I've been similar to me, but I mean, I started out Christian, then I became atheist, and then went back to becoming a Christian, and I'm then becoming more spiritual down the road. I don't think that. Yeah, I'm like where you are right now. Yeah. I don't consider myself. I don't give myself a label.
Yeah.
I just feel as if I'm more in tune with the universe. Yeah. That's how I see it.
Yeah, because when you tell people, "Oh, I'm a Christian," they imagine, "Oh, you're that kind of guy," and you're probably not. I'm probably not. I'm definitely like I don't go to church. I am church in a sense,
Right.
It's kind of just put the dogma aside. I don't reject. There's some utility. There's some value in, like rituals and stuff like that, prayers. But I try to integrate them more than I say them. Like really, integrate in my day-to-day life. And when because my grandmother, she was a very devout Christian, and she was going to church, and she was, she was my grandmother, so that's another generation, a few generations back.
Right.
So, but the message, and she saw so many things in me when I was a child. Like she was the only, like the most supportive person of me doing music, and she always told me, "Oh, you're gonna be a priest. You're gonna be, a preacher." And I was like, I'm never ever gonna be a preacher. Like I want to get married. I want to, and actually, like she was right. Maybe in a way that even she didn't understand, because the way I see myself doing music right now, it's kind of it's exactly that. Because through the music that you do, you remind people that life, their existence isn't just what they see. There's something more, there's something deeper, and you connect your audience with that something deeper. And in that sense, you are a preacher.
Yes.
Producers
are one of the biggest preachers because they create emotion.
Yeah, and that connection with what I personally call the infinite. For lack of a better term, like some would say God, but I think God is very like I use the word, but it just falls short of how great that idea is. It's not enough. There's never going to be any word that can define the thing that some people call God.
Right.
You cannot, and in some religions they don't mention by name, And music gives you that connection with something that thing that you cannot explain, but you know it's there. You know it's there. You know it's important. You know it's everything. You know, and even in order to be able to bring that to people, you have to sacrifice. You have to commit to a path that you know is going to be difficult,
Yeah.
if not straight impossible. You're going to have to sacrifice social life. You're going to have to sacrifice comfort. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot of things, you know, in pursuit of, you know, truth. You're going to have to be more disciplined. And that's what I like with, you know, Third Stones, Patterns for Collective. That's people who are disciplined, working. You know, I'm not spending the next 3 weeks playing video games. I'm gonna hustle and I'm gonna make music. I'm gonna make things happen because it's important. And you being 38, I'm sure you were in that spot where you like, maybe you think, oh, it might not happen. Maybe you know, you're in that place, maybe in your 20s. Oh, I need to get a job, get a career, and I do music on the side. And you feel like your soul like slimming down, and something's like, you get this hole inside, and it's growing, and I can't do that. You cannot keep a job. You cannot, you know, and you need to put this calling, music, this ability, this gift that you have. You didn't ask for it, but you have it. You have it, and it compels you to keep doing it, because you know deep inside how meaningful it is, not only for you but for everyone. Like, especially if you honor that gift, if you work hard to make sure that this gift isn't lost on you, because it's lost on so many people, you know, who just give up. So make sure it's not lost on you, and you work hard, and you become, you know, as good as you possibly can, and you reach people, and you change them, you know, their lives through music. This is what, you know, what is, you know, what can you find that's going to be more meaningful in your life? There's never going to be any job that's going to bring as much meaning, you know, in not only your life but everyone around you. But it requires you to sacrifice. It requires you to commit, to have faith, you know, to get faith in yourself, faith in your, like, the path that's in front of you, you know. And you commit and you sacrifice, and if you do it right, you may get, you know, some rewards, some results, some, you know, but this is not the rewards or the results ultimately that you need to be pursuing. This is deeper than that, you know. Of course you need money, you need to pay the bills and stuff, and thankfully there are systems in place where you can make music and actually get paid, but this is not what you should, you know, pursue. This will happen eventually, you know. But this is not your goal. Your goal is beyond that. And we were talking about Erykah Badu against maybe all other artists when they do one amazing album, two amazing albums, and then it's done. You know, you have artists like for 40, 50, 60 years, they make the most mind-blowing music you can imagine. That's because they know, you know, success and money is not the end goal of making music. The end goal is to spread the word, you know, remind people that there is something more to their own existence than what's in front of their eyes.
Absolutely.
You know, that's what music does in a very physical sense. In a very, when you study music and harmony, you realize it's like music exists. Even if we didn't exist, music would exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as musicians, we recognize that, you know, and we can utilize that to reach people and spread the word, you know. And that's a very religious commitment. It's very religious life, and once you realize that, it's funny, because before I realized that, I was really, you know, I still have a huge ego, obviously, but I felt I was better than other people because I was able to make music.
Because it felt like you had a superpower.
Yeah, and I was owed, you know, more respect and more consideration, like, because I was a better person than them, because I had this. And the truth, the truth is, because I have this, I also have this responsibility to make sure, as I was saying before, that this gift that almost nobody has. Like there are many musicians, of course, but when you take 8 billion people, almost nobody can make music. You know, so you can, I can. Very few select people can make music, and from these few select people, most won't make music. Most won't commit. All right.
Right. It's hard work.
Yeah, this gift, because it's too difficult. It's, you know, it's too difficult, and you have no certainty.
Brain intensive.
You know, and it's intense, and so just the responsibility. And this is actually humbling, because you didn't ask for it, but in a way, if you have the ability to make music, you are chosen to, you know, you are given some kind of superpower in that sense. But it's not because you're better than other people. This is something that you must take, you know, and accept and make sure that it actually makes a difference, you know, in the world, that you actually bring meaning to your life and to the life of everyone around you through that, you know. And this is humbling. This is not you, oh, I'm better than you. This is, oh, I have this responsibility. I need to work hard. I need to, you know, it has to matter, and in return it gives you meaning, you know, to your own life.
Yeah.
This is you know, this is the reason why, like, this is, for me, this is church, this is mass, you know. When you make music, you're directly in contact. You have this connection with the infinite, and you kind of translate a message, you convey a message to the audience, and this message it cannot be, you know, said with words. It needs music to be heard and understood. And, you know, like everybody can close their eyes and listen to high quality music and be transported, be in a place that you cannot go physically. You have to go with your mind, you have to go with your soul. And this is such a huge, amazing experience. And like sacred music is just music. You know, all music is sacred. Whether even, you know, atheist, political music, people who have no idea what they're making is sacred, but it is sacred nonetheless. They don't really realize it on a conscious level, but they realize, like every musician, you know, whoever plays a chord, on a subconscious, like deep level, they know this is important. It doesn't look like, it doesn't seem important, you know, from the outside, but it is. And man, it's a privilege, like, really, and to be, you know, to be surrounded with, you know, technology that allows you to just make music.
People.
And reach people right away.
Yeah.
You don't need to send a cassette to some label somewhere, and maybe they'll listen, maybe they won't. And maybe they give you a call.
Your own. You could be the label.
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing. And yeah, sorry, I was. I'm talking a lot.
But I'm being educated at the same time, because you're 100% right. That's what music really is. Music is almost like going to church. It is church. You're connecting with people. You're creating emotions. You're taking people from outside of whatever physical realm that they're in to more of an emotional and a spiritual realm.
And church does have music.
Really are. Yeah. But of course, you know, the body that we're in, this is not really us. It's just a bodysuit.
Yeah.
We're more than that. Yeah. So when you're listening to music, you're tapping to the very essence of you.
Yeah.
And that's why I love music so much. I know I thank my mom almost every day by getting me into it, because this is the greatest gift she probably ever given me, was to be in a choir and sing and play piano, and down the road give me an interest to be a producer. You know, that was the stepping stone to where I am right now. So yeah,
that was kind of your birth as a musician.
Yeah, like I was born to be this. Yeah,
and might have been painful. You know, maybe your mom kind of made you. I don't know. Maybe you were happy to go there, but
I know. No, I mean, I didn't want. Well, I had a bad experience when it came to music because I got kind of abused
Yeah.
by my music teacher.
Oh,
Because of that, I didn't like music because I'm like, why am I going to music? He's gonna beat me, but I don't know how to sing a song. It's like it doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm gonna talk to him about it, and then that got dissipated. But other than that, I started loving music again because I went to the church instead of that guy. I went to the church to get into music, and I don't know. I didn't realize I had a voice. I say, oh, I could sing. I didn't even know I could sing because every time I would sing, the choir director wanted me to do solo. It was like, really? Am I that good? I said, okay, I'll do it. But yeah, I just started learning I can sing. So I actually took vocal lessons of all things. I took vocal lessons outside of school. Even in my adulthood, I took vocal lessons and tried to get better at singing.
But you're singing right now?
I need to, but I love making beats too much.
You can do both.
You can do both. You can. But I don't know. I just more into making beats. But I know down the road I will because I have people on my Facebook friends. They want me to go back to singing because they haven't heard me sing in a while. And I will probably get back into it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, my voice is more like The Weeknd. I'm not as good as The Weeknd. I mean, I ain't gonna try to toot my own horn or anything like that. But I sing just almost like him, like the falsetto, head voice, type of style. That's pretty much my style when it comes to singing. But
I used to sing a little, but I don't like my voice.
Yeah, that's how it usually is. Like you sing, but people just love it. They're like, you want me to keep singing? Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, maybe it's like back. Like there are a few songs that I really like, but I cannot sing like that anymore for some reason. But
it's like a muscle. Got to keep practicing, and that's the thing with me. Because even though I have the voice, I still have to practice. Because if I don't practice, it's not as strong as it would be if I did practice. So I have
like
to
an instrument.
Like yeah.
Like
and the voice is so thin. And the vocal cord is so thin that you have to not overblow it. So you have to find ways to control it to get that resonance to be more powerful. Because you don't want to just because your vocal cord's like this. You don't want to do this all the time. Slapping it. So you just want to make sure it's like here, but then a little bit of air gets through, and then you can push out, and then so much things go on with singing.
I never got so deep into singing technique. I wish I did, but whatever. At this point,
if you do, check a guy called David Jones.
David, let me just write that down. David Jones.
David Jones, vocal. He's called the voice teacher or the vocal teacher. He's good. He's really, really good. I would say follow him.
Seen on YouTube.
I think he's on YouTube. I'm not quite sure, but I read a lot of his articles. I didn't really listen to his audio stuff. But my teacher followed his stuff.
Yeah.
So and it's so cool because I studied David Jones, and then my vocal teacher was actually studying David Jones. So because of that, we actually had a really good bond to where we're gonna try to learn his techniques and get better at singing. So I would say check him out. He's really good too.
Yeah, I will. That's interesting because you kind of give me I'm thinking it's just like another instrument. You can be born with the ability to sing, but then if you really, really want to be serious about it, you need to learn technique. You need to learn proper technique.
Right.
When I got into classical, I was like, oh, this is the opportunity for me to practice, become a better piano player. And I started practicing, some Chopin and stuff like that. And I got hurt because I had bad technique. I probably still have. I corrected at least some of it, but I got hurt. I was hurt in my from tendonitis, from here to there. I could barely play. I was still playing, obviously, but I could barely play. I couldn't practice classical at all for a year and a half.
Wow, crazy.
And I really, I could play maybe for 15 minutes at a time before I started to
started acap. Wow.
Yeah, but I had to play. I had to make music. So
it's like I totally get it. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably do the same thing if I could play the piano and if I'm hurting, but I can't play for a long duration of time. I'm gonna make those 15 minutes count. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make sure I get it out of my system. And then once I get it out of my system, I'm gonna remember that to how long? I don't even know. Probably until today. I'm not here anymore, but I'm gonna do the best I can as far as either you say play the piano or making a beat, because in my mind things are not promised. Tomorrow's never promised. So
yeah,
if all you can do 50 minutes, I'll say by all means, man.
yeah, that's it. That's and you know, there's no way. Like once you committed, there's no way you just don't make music for a year. You know,
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like pushing through stuff like that, it makes you a better musician, because maybe you develop a little bit your left hand. Maybe you start using more samplers and sequencers, because you know, because it's less intense on you. So if you can either say, oh, that's too bad, oh, poor me, and just now cannot play music for a year and give up, or you're just like, no, fuck that, I'm gonna make music, I'm gonna find another way to make music, and
exactly.
you keep pushing, and then it transforms something bad that happens to you to an opportunity for you to grow, you know. And that's kind of I was discussing, like, I had a shop a few years ago, and I had a customer who was really like into Islam.
Okay.
And but it was, a little bit like we talk, like, this is, the stuff that he learned as a child, and he probably went away from it for a while, and then kind of went back with a more mature mind. So he was telling me, like, about how it was about being humble and like submissive to Allah. And in that sense, like, how I understood it is, like, you don't have control over what happens, over most of what happens to you.
Right.
And by being humble in the face of whatever happens to you, and being submissive, accepting, what happens to you, and say, all right, this is my path now. What kind of person do I want to be, in that context? And then you decide, do I want to keep being, like, celebrating, the gift that I have, the life that I have, the opportunity that I have, regardless of, despite of what happens to me? Or do I just want to fight it? I just want to be mad of oh, this is unfair, and this is, and just be humble, submit to life, submit to you can call it God, life, the
universe,
whatever, submit to that, and realize, that you don't have control over everything, but you have control over how you react to what happens to you, how you take it. Do you take it as life is against you, or do you take it as, oh, maybe there's an opportunity there? And granted, if you learn that you have cancer or what, I don't know how to deal with that, but everyday stuff, like, all right, my arm hurts a little bit. I'm still gonna make music, I don't know, it's too complex, and I haven't faced that kind of seriousness in life events, not personally. Like, my father died from cancer, and that was transformative, to say this. It was traumatizing, like, because he looked a lot like me. If you go on Facebook, you can find photos of me and him, playing music together.
Okay.
And so he, like, I started doing gigs, like, in rhythm and blues cover band with him, like his band, when I was 12.
Right.
That was such an experience. I hated it.
Right.
But now, looking back, it was such a great experience, and I love this music right now. Like, back then, I just wanted to do metal, to shred on the guitar, and he wanted me to play the piano, and I didn't appreciate it, but I took it in, and I don't regret it. I did it. I went to the rehearsals. It was an hour and a half train ride every week. We had gigs almost every week for years. And it was a huge, like, building experience for me as a musician, It was the first experience I had with something that was serious. That was maybe not serious to the level that, we're doing things right now. It was another era also. But, like, rehearsal every week, and we had paid gigs, like being 12, 13, being paid to make music with, actual, good musicians, who were, 10, 20 years my elders. That was
That's dope.
yeah. Sorry, rambling again. If you
That's
don't
okay,
stop
man.
cutting me off, I'm just
Nah, man,
quickly
I'm not cutting. I know I'm not doing that. No, man, preach,
like,
man. Go ahead.
yeah.
I like it. Your story probably more entertaining than mine because mine is very very vanilla. So I don't have really
I don't
too
think
much to
so.
say.
It's
I got
just,
too much to say, but I mean,
no story. Like especially like as an artist who this like you're walking that path, you know,
yeah,
and maybe I spent a lot of time and some substance use. Don't do drugs, kids.
yeah,
Psychedelic stuff like that. I spent a lot of time and thinking about my place in the world because I from ever since I was born, like I didn't ever have the chance to fit in. I was forced
I feel you.
to be myself,
Are you only child?
uh, for a while. I'm the eldest. I don't know how you say in English, but I have a young brother. I actually have one half brother who's younger and two half sisters. Like my mom and dad they didn't get together.
Okay.
So my mom has a son with my stepdad, which I consider my dad because he raised me. So yeah, I was the first person of color in my whole neighborhood school up until I was maybe 13 or 14, in my environment. To the point, like my stepdad, so he's white. I didn't know he wasn't my real dad until I was 8. So my stepdad is white, my mom is white, and all the neighborhood was white, and I I thought I was white until I realized I wasn't. So that wasn't like going
That's
back
an
to
eye
that.
opener. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh, and so, but then you go to junior high and high school, and what identity do you have? Because I didn't have the culture. I didn't have like Creole culture. My father is from the Caribbean, was from the Caribbean. So Caribbean, so yeah, it's kind of slave trade. They were picking people because in the Caribbean you had like native South American people, and you had black people from Africa who were brought in as slaves. So these were my ancestors. But I haven't I wasn't raised in that culture.
Yeah.
I was raised in almost German culture. I was living right next to it used to be Germany like 100 years ago. Like my grandmother, like her native language was German.
Yeah.
So this was my culture, but it wasn't my face. So I didn't really fit into that. I didn't fit into the Caribbean culture, the Creole culture either, because I don't speak Creole. I don't really like the music, to be honest. I know it's very popular, the kind of rhythm like it's so popular right now, but I don't really like that.
I love Caribbean music though.
Yeah, like
I love it.
I like more like Reunion Island music, like Madagascar, stuff like that, Maloya, stuff like that. That's
I'm a big dancehall fan. I'm a big dance.
Nah, I don't get it.
I love it, man. I grew up on that. I love it. I love it. But I don't make the thing is I don't make music like that. I will never make music like that. But I still love listening to it.
Yeah, I love Wagner.
Like who?
Wagner, Richard Wagner, like German composer from the 19th century.
Let me check him out.
Yeah, you like Valkyrie, like da 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 da.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like So basically I had no identity like from my family or from my community. So like to white people I was a person of color. To person of color I was a white guy, and so it wasn't that much of an issue ever. Like especially like in junior high I started I was always playing music, playing the piano, and then I picked up a guitar, and so to become more popular I started bands.
Yeah.
And so I always found a way to fit in, but I always had to be myself. I didn't have the choice of putting on a mask and being like other kids. So that I took it as an opportunity, and I think it was a chance in the end. I was privileged in that sense because I didn't have the choice to fit in, and the same goes like right now with musician. Of course I'm a musician. Of course I'm committed, because what else could I be? That's all that I ever was. Like I was music before. I was talking to my friend Cherie the other day, and she wants to, like, she's not a musician, but she wants to kind of make beats, maybe sing a little bit. And I was like, oh, I've been making music for longer than you've been alive. And she was like, I'm 39. And and I'm like, yeah, that's right. I don't remember ever starting making music. I was always like in my memory, like I was always my oldest memory of me making music was me making music, you know, on the piano at my grandmother, and we were listening to the radio on the right there, and I was playing the melodies on the piano. She had a piano there, and that's, I don't remember ever. Oh, I'm just gonna start learning music. It never happened.
Yeah, never.
You know? And so I embraced it, and you know, and then you turn 20, 22, and you know, you kind of try to fit in because everybody tells you to, or get a job and whatnot. So I tried that, and didn't work out. Didn't, like, the longest I kept a job was a year and a half. So, and now I'm an entrepreneur, which works nice. I'm still, like, it sounds like I make a lot of money, but I don't. Maybe in the future, who knows? But it's good because I make my own rules, and that's fine. I love it. It's but you know, it's like, as I was saying,
you have freedom.
Like,
some freedom.
If you get to the point in your life where you commit, when you decide to commit to something like deep, like music, it's because of what you lived before, what you went through before. You came to this conclusion, and it has to be something strong. And maybe you don't, like, you never really get the past. Like, you can look back and maybe 10 years before, and oh, this little thing that I didn't think was important, that put me on that path, and you realize that along the way, you know, there's also, you know, some psychology involved, some bias. You know, we remember what we want to remember in the way we want to remember it. You know, and who cares in the end, because that leads you to commit and live this interesting life. You know, meeting people and you know, when you take all of what you told me, like discovering, you know, hip hop music and getting into that, and all the artists, and singing in a choir at church, you know, being abused by your teacher, and learning vocal technique, and all this path.
Yeah.
You know, this is like, most people don't go through that ever.
No. But I'm an only child.
Yeah.
And I think that because of my upbringing, because I was the only child, it made me more self-contained to want to do music. And even though I had friends, I don't know, it just...
Yeah, but still, you went for it.
Yeah, because I had nobody... Okay, I played team sports.
Yeah.
And every time I played team sports with a competitor or a team player, as long as if I did something, I get blamed for it. Right? That's why I play golf, because nobody to blame but myself, and I can take responsibility for that. I know if I did it, I can take responsibility for that. If I'm making beats, let's say for the production, if I'm making music and it's whack, I can't blame nobody but myself. It's up to me to want to become better. And I'll be honest with you, at a time, I quit so many times making beats. Even though I made beats around 2003, I quit myself like 5 times because I just couldn't make a beat good. And I don't know, I just kept going and going and going and going. And you know, I told you, man, I listened to Paul.
How do you know they weren't good?
And I can know because you know, oh yeah, because I was on the Cannabis Central forum at the time.
Yeah.
And because Cannabis at the time was one of my favorite MCs. So you know, I'll play some beats over there, and one of my beats actually they liked it. But when I started making more beats, I think I made a second beat, the guys like, "Nah, this is whack." So I was like, "Okay, back to the drawing board."
You're still learning, you know, like.
Yeah, I'm still learning. Yeah.
And you're still learning right now.
Still learning.
Just you learn, you know. But to my point is, like, walking down this path makes your life so interesting and unique. Like,
it does.
You have people who, you know, go to school, get a job, get a career, and they try to do you know, whatever they can to make their life interesting. And like, we have this chance, we have this privilege to have music, carry us, if we're willing to go along with it, and carry us to places like, even like, take this conversation. Like,
Exactly.
This is amazing. Like, we're worlds apart, and
Yeah.
we're talking about music, and we're talking about, we live like several thousand miles apart, and we had so many of the similar experiences.
Yeah.
So many things that we have in common, even though that's the first time we never even met. That's the first time we've met,
Right.
More or less, and but we have this connection, and like this path that we follow, and that brought us all these stories, all these interesting, encounters and challenges, and pains, like suffering, and struggles, and victories, defeats. You make a nice beat, everybody loves it. Next beat, yeah, it's swag. This is what gives like substance to
that's life.
Yeah, that's
living
life like you, to a great extent. Like, you're not sleeping, at a desk job. And I'm not I used to really put down like people who do 9 to 5, but not anymore, because I don't understand what they're going through. I don't like, maybe that's how they find meaning in their life, and I have to respect that. If they tell me, all right, this is how I find, I have to respect that. I don't have to understand. Like, even like some of them wouldn't understand what we do. And that's fine. We're still doing it.
Yeah.
And we don't need approval. This is what we feel we should be doing, and we're doing it. But yeah, 9 to 5 isn't for me, for sure. Like, I've tried and failed so many times.
I do a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the good thing is I work at home, so.
Oh, that's not
technically it's a 9 to 5. I could work from 7 to 2 and be fine. Like, as long as the work gets done, it's all good.
I sell waffles every day. That's a small business you have.
Some freedom. It's not like I have to go to the job and be monitored and micromanaged.
Like, you were supposed to have this break for 3 minutes and 25 seconds, but you did 4 minutes and 12 seconds. So you're taking a quarter of an hour off your pay.
We need to have a discussion.
Yeah. Like, usually that's the moment where I like, yeah, fuck you, I'm just going home.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. Like, I started.
And I understand. Make you feel like a child, man.
Yeah,
it's not cool. Yeah, it's not cool.
To some people, maybe that's a framework that they kind of need, or I don't know, they want. Because it's very secure. It's very, you know what to expect, and everybody plays the same game, and
till the robots come.
But
until then, it's some sense of security where you get a paycheck coming through.
And that's how the world moves forward. Like, a lot of people are doing 9 to 5 jobs, and it might not seem important to you, even when you're doing it. But the thing is, like, the world, like this amazing society that we have, is not perfect. Far from it, But it works. Like, you turn on the lights, you have a computer. Everybody has a computer right now, a cell phone. Yeah. You have instant access to culture, knowledge. You don't even know to go to you don't even need to go to college. Yeah. I was like, that's fucking amazing,
It's mind blowing. Yeah, it's mind blowing.
Like, most people don't, like, many people don't realize how amazing this is. Like, this is like being alive when they figure out how to make fire. They invent the wheel or something like that.
Yeah, same I think it's the same concept.
Only better, because that's
10 times.
Fire. All right, now I can eat, cooked meat or whatever. Like internet. Now I can know everything.
Yeah, everything.
I can talk to everyone.
Right.
In a second, in an instant. Like, I can just. I never done any music in my life. I'm maybe 25 or whatever.
Right. I can make music, but now I can make music. Yeah.
Yeah. I sit down on a computer one morning, download a few pieces of software, watch a few YouTube videos, and by the end of the day, I made some music.
Yeah.
Like even 30 years ago, you had to go to music school, you had to buy a piano, you had to buy a guitar. Now you can just, oh, I'm just lazy, I'm bored today. What can I do? Oh, I'm just gonna. Actually, that's what I did with 3D. We had a lockdown, and I was like, oh, I don't want to get bored. And sometimes when you make music, you have sometimes when you're not especially inspired, you're just grinding and nothing good ever. So I was like, I like to be creative in different ways. So I was like, I'm bad at design and I'm bad at anything visual. I'm just going to download this free software that, that makes that, to make 3D stuff. And turns out I'm good at it. Like I made $200 last week, selling 3D models of an Octatrack and stuff like that. That's you. Just the fact that you can do that. Like you used to have to go to school, pay a very expensive software, and an expensive computer. Now you just have a laptop like FL Mobile, $15, and you can you can sign on a label and release an album, with a $15 worth of cell phone app. How like.
Or the Koala.
It's like it's like science fiction.
Because I got the Koala app too.
You do?
Yeah, I make beats on that sometimes.
All right.
Now I want to get away from the FL Studio. It's fun. It's really, really fun.
You should get a 404, an actual 404.
I want to.
Yeah.
I really want to. I'm gonna be because I have records. I have records right next to me, and I like to get an SP 404.
Yeah.
And make some beats on that. I love that.
It's affordable.
It's expensive though. No, it ain't.
It's more expensive than the Koala app for sure, but it's a different approach. I have 404 and 202. I kind of want a 303 just to have it, so I have all three. But they're starting to become so expensive and.
Oh my, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, like. It's difficult to justify unless you're really making good money, which I don't right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I would love to get an SP 303 or 404 set. Yeah. Like, if I have like a live performance, I'll like to do something like that because I don't want to bring my laptop with me to make them to do like a live performance. I like to have like an SP 303 or 404 and have my records here and make some beats on it.
Yeah,
even the track clip stuff.
Yeah, and it's self-contained. Like even you can work on stuff on FL and then get everything in the SP, or you can just put a sample in there and start chopping, hitting the pads. Like it's like I don't know that much about the 303, but as a first, I would probably, unless you get a good opportunity, good price on the 303, just get a 404. Right. It's more powerful. It sounds great. It's just as easy. Like the workflow is pretty much hasn't changed since the 202. Like my 202 is like from '98, and it's like they added a pattern sequencer, which some people use, some people don't. You don't have to use it. Right. The effects are really much better, but it's basically the same thing. And you can put batteries in it, just hang out outside, make some music, with headphones. Well, you can probably do that with Koala Sampler also. Yeah,
you can. But I'm sure it's a little different by using the SP 404.
Yeah, I mean SP is kind of it's more of a ritual because it's something you still have to take it with you. You put it in a backpack. It's not like you always have your cell phone. If you take the SP with you, it's more of a ritual. Like maybe this is how it's very religious.
And that's why I want to do it. Because I want to get away from the computer. You know what I mean? I mean, technology is great, but I like to take a break away from it and just be on a corner, like you say, like in my room, and just geek out on some vinyl and just make some music on the SP.
When you look at
that's one of the things I want to get.
When you look at home studio pictures online.
Oh man, I'd be so inspired. I love them.
Yeah, but they look like an actual altar. I don't know how to pronounce it. Like an altar.
ALTAR. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, like a sanctuary.
Yeah, and this is exactly what it is. It's a place where you go. It's like church. It's like you celebrate life. You celebrate like the deepest levels of meaning in your existence, and it's a ritual. It's to me, there's no doubt, and it doesn't have to be the same for other people. Obviously, I'm not saying you have to be religious about it,
Right.
but I'm just gonna show you something that I have right next to my sound card.
All right.
And it's funny because it's not about the symbol, but it's about what it represents and the sacred part of it. So this is right next to my sound card.
Okay.
And this was given to me, not given. I got it from my grandmother. I think after she passed, and because as I was saying, she was a really devout Christian, and funnily enough, like nobody wanted to talk religion with her but me.
Right.
She was very dogmatic and like churchgoer. People like that. But you can like she went through World War II and stuff like that. She had a hard life, and her faith was genuine, and she was an amazing person, and to this day, like she passed a few years ago, but to this day, like her words resonate with me. And I remember when I was a child, and she was really the one pushing me to make music, and at the same time, she was the one telling me, "Oh, you're going to be a priest." And 30 years later, approximately, I was. Before that, I was like, "I'm never going to be a priest," 30 years later, I realized, "Oh, wait."
Not in that context.
Yeah, like maybe I don't go to say mass in the traditional sense, but this is still what I do. This
right.
Is how I consider, and I take this very seriously. I take this as an honor and a privilege to be able to do that, and it's very important to me that I do that I dedicate my life to that, and that's what a priest does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even in sense, like a metaphorical sense, like the vow of celibacy and like monks sometimes decide to live in poverty. That's the commitment that we're making, you and I, right now. We dedicate ourselves to something that's way deeper than we can imagine. But we know it's there, we know it's important, and we don't know exactly what it is, but it governs our lives in the sense, sacrifice and how many times have we died, in our life, like we were one person, and we say, oh, I was a different person 10 years ago. Yeah, that person 10 years ago died and resurrected and became who you are today,
Right.
How many times did it happen, I'm not saying that there was a magical guy 2,000 years ago who walked on water and made some magic tricks. To be fair, I don't know. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. I don't know. But the story of it, just, through sacrifice and faith, you will be transformed and resurrected. And when I look at my life right now, talking to people like you, Third Stone Sounds and Patterns Collective, and everything that's happening ever since I decided to commit, I don't know if it's paradise, but man, I'm having a blast. This is amazing. I wouldn't have it any other way. Of course, I'd love to have more money or whatever, but I wouldn't trade this for money.
Yeah. You can't replace it.
If money happens through this, fine, great.
Yeah,
if it doesn't, too bad. But I'm still gonna do it.
You ain't stop. Yeah.
It's too late to go back anyway, so I might as well, like 42. I'm not, I don't want to work some job I don't want to go to until I'm 90. So it's either gonna happen or
it don't happen. Regardless, you're gonna do it.
But at least I'm gonna, when I die, I want to tell myself, oh, I did my best, and maybe it didn't work out. But if I didn't do my best, you have to ask yourself, what if I did my best? Maybe something would have happened. Maybe I would have had a meaningful life. But I chose not to. I chose to give up, and I don't want to ask myself that question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though life can be difficult and struggle, you know, there are some struggles and you know, being broke and whatever. But I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and
Mm-hmm.
a vow of poverty, you know, whatever. You know, I'm not living the life that most people live. I don't own a house. I don't own a home at 42 years old. You know, I rent a stupid place here, and I make music, and that's it. I don't need more. I would love to have more, but I don't need it.
Yeah.
If that's it, you know, I would suck a little bit, but that's it. It's not for me to, you know. My job is to make sure that gift isn't lost on me, and to dedicate my life to make sure that this gift has meaning for me and for other people, and that's my job. That's what I do, and my reward is to have a meaningful life. That's what I'm living, and like it's amazing because like in this podcast, this like interview, like I'm talking to people, I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry again.
It's okay, brother.
This is a process. Like I really want to do that, and it's difficult to be consistent because you don't always have people, you know, willing to do that. You have time zones and whatnot, and I'm I'm quite busy, you know, in my day-to-day life. But this is important for me, you know, to do because at so many levels, because it gives me a chance to talk to other people on a similar path and learn from you know, people like you, people like Rich, you know, and at the same time just talking about stuff like that makes you think. It makes you realize a few things. You have light going off, you know, in your head. Just by talking about it, you know, because I don't know about you, but in my everyday life, I don't have much conversations like that.
I don't.
You know.
I'm with you on that. It just takes a I don't want to say a special person, but it just takes I don't know how to describe it, but it's a certain type of person that is aware of how things work and what is their purpose in life. And a lot of people don't know what their purpose in life is, you know, and that's the problem. And then you don't have in your circle, you don't meet that type of people. I mean, I have a good musical friend that we talk about stuff like this, where we don't talk about pop culture. We talk about maybe some esoteric type conversations or topics. But that as only one person. I can't talk to this to my fiance. She think I'm losing my brain. And it happened before. And it happened before. I talked to her about certain things. She's like, man, I need to get off the internet, man. Some of the stuff on the internet ain't true. But I tell her, like, look, you think stuff on TV is true? They just telling you what they want you to see and hear.
That's
so what's the point? What's your point? What are you trying to make here?
Like, truth is like truth. We don't own like it's not for us to truly to behold. You know, we have glimpses of truth. You know, but it's we need to tell, like, speak our truth, and we need to tell, you know, to be truthful in the way we live. You know. About ourselves, you know, I should be working harder. All right, so work harder. You know, like this kind of, you know, my life shit, and you have to realize, maybe I shouldn't play as much, you know, video games.
Right.
Maybe I should, if this is important for me, maybe I should spend more time doing that. You know.
Right.
And because, you know, especially like musicians, artists, this is so important, and then you have the next Call of Duty, and you don't hear from them. 6 months. I was like, I thought this was important, you know. Like,
and the thing with me with video games, I get sick when I play video games.
Yeah, I spend so much time playing video games, and now I'm not saying that I couldn't anymore, but I haven't for a very long time. And when I had the opportunity, I still would rather make some music. I think I kind of feel bad after, you know, 15 minutes. I'm like, what am I doing? And I owe a lot. You know, I owe a lot to video games. Like video games aren't all bad, but maybe there's a time in your life when you're a teenager, play some video games. I learned English through video games because when I was 7, my parents bought me a Commodore 64 computer. You know, because my friend had one, and with cassette and stuff. Like you had to wait like 45 minutes to play a game, and it was like a game that was on cell phones 20 years ago, ish. and but everything was in English, and I was French. Like my mom kind of understands. She can speak a little bit of English, but barely. And my stepdad, my father actually lived in the U.S. At some point, but I wasn't like he didn't raise me. I saw him every now and again up until the point I joined his band. Then I saw him more often. But it was like he was my father we had a real connection. Like we had a good connection, but it was definitely not father son. Like not as much as he would have wanted. But whatever. I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, that's too.
That's fine, man. I don't know how long are we? Like we need to do this again. I cannot see how long have we been.
We started like around 3 or 4ish. No, we started 4, right? We started 4.
Yeah, I think it was. It's something like 2 hours.
Was it 2 hours?
Yeah, something like that. A little bit less, maybe. Like
I think it was super quick. Yeah, probably close to 2 hours.
Yeah, something like that. Like, yeah. Oh man, how about we call?
You were talking about. Yeah, sorry, but no, we're talking about the dealing with people that's not, I don't know, not following or not going to their purpose in life. I think that's what it was.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it was about the truth about yourself. Like you always, like ever since you started making music, you probably knew.
Yeah.
This was.
When I was in a beat competition.
Yeah.
Paula Brown had a beat competition, and I think that was around 2012, and I joined it. This is when I started to get better because I listened to his beat tape, and I was like, okay. I put this beat out. I gave him this beat that I thought was the best beat I ever made in my life.
Yeah.
And I gave him the beat. I put my beat in the competition, and then I didn't hear nobody won. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna keep moving on. And the next year, I found out who won, which is me. I found out I won the competition.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah. He put my beat. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, let me go hard with the beat making. And then I know life came and took its course, and I just stopped making beats after that again. And then I think 2 years ago, he reached out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reached out to me because he wanted to know if he could give me credit for the beat I did, because he actually remade the beat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because at the end of the beat, I took off the drums and showed him how I chopped the sample up. So it kind of gave him a blueprint of how to make the beat, because he knew what the sample was.
Yeah. So
I guess, out of respect, you see, you didn't want to feel as if you wanted to jack me.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, because I'd be like, if he didn't reach out to me and I heard the beat, I'd be like, bro, like this is the same chops as me. So, so he did put me on his album, and I have the album right here. This album right here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the Paulo Brown, Sincerity, Detroit.
All right.
He actually put me on as credit. I don't know if I can show me so I can find it. It's so small, by the way. Right here. It says King Form. Let me see if I can find it. Right there.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, King Form.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shouted me
by
out.
King Form.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, because and I was like, okay. That's all myself. I told me right then and there, I gotta make beats.
Yeah, that's validation. But there's always a process. Like you probably know deep inside, like, you know, from the very first note you play on an instrument, the very first sound you make, you know, all right, this is what I want. But there's a whole process that for many people don't happen when you know and you accept it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's again, it ties to submit to the reality, to the truth of who you are. You know, and I don't know in English if I may get a little bit, like in French we have like in French mass, like there's a different word to describe God, and they say it's the verb.
Okay.
And in that sense, like how I understand it is the spoken truth.
Okay.
You know, you speak. This is who I am.
Yes.
You speak. This is I am a musician. You know, and when you speak the truth, you know, you bring meaning into your life. You all right. You get in sync. You get in tune. You know, and you find peace in that. All right, this is what I'm doing now. This is who I am. I accept. I don't choose. I didn't choose to be a musician, but I accepted it at some point. You know, I tried to reject it. I tried to fight it at some point in my life, and it was a whole process to get to a point in my life where now I'm going to accept it. Once you accept it, something changes because you tell, like, you speak the truth about yourself, and you start taking this habit. Oh, maybe I should be working harder on that if I want some results.
Yeah.
You know, I'm working as hard. Oh, I'm not working. I'm spending too much time playing video games, doing, you know, stuff.
Right, doing this, doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you know, and you know, this is why, like, everything's so like it's really a religion because of all that. Like like I was going away from, you know, Christian, like, dogma and culture, you know, but I got back to it because it makes sense in a different way now.
Right.
You know, before it was like, oh, it's just stories, like this guy did that and whatever, and it seems like improbable, you know. So and now it's, oh no, that's exactly that, but it's not. Maybe it's not literally that. Maybe it is.
Right.
Just to be fair,
maybe
I don't
it
know.
is. Yeah.
Maybe it is. There's no way to know. You know, there are some amazing people who did amazing things, but. Since I cannot know if the stories are technically, like, literally true, but I can still take from those stories and use these stories to find my way through life. And the thing is, it works. It works for me. So I'm doing it because so far it worked. And I used to say, like, some people are Muslim, some people are Jews, some people are, say, like, spiritual Buddhist or atheist, which is pretty much also, like, as far as you say, I know this is the answer, like, it becomes an ideology. So it can be a religious ideology. So, but whatever it is, you know, the religion, if it's atheism, Islam, if it works for you, makes you a better person, makes you find meaning in your life, and at the same time works for people around you, you know, that's fine. That's good. That's, you know, call it whatever you want, or don't call it at all, you know.
Yeah. It's subjective.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying I have the best interpretation. I probably have the best for me.
Yeah.
It might not be the best for you. It might not be, you know, I have some friends, you know, messengers, like bike messengers here in Toulouse, and they're, like, really into, like, dogmatic stuff, like go to church, whatever. But it works for them. It worked for my grandmother, and she was an amazing human being. And that's good. That's all you need. It can be, you know, superstition or whatever. If it works,
it works for you, it makes you a better person.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, if it turns you into an asshole and you start killing people, no, pick another one. You know.
Yeah.
If you know, if it brings pain to you and people around you, so that just means
you do something else.
Pick a different one that makes you feel good and makes you want to hug people and tell them how beautiful they are. You're beautiful, by the way. Yeah, but that's the thing. Once you commit, you become like, it's like an aura that you acquire.
Yeah.
Once you start speaking your truth about yourself, like, there's something that you give off, and people pick up. Some people, maybe all, maybe some, they can pick up on that.
Yeah.
You know, and when you meet other people who also have that, and that's because I was saying that conversation like this one, it doesn't happen often. Truth is, like, nowadays for me it happens, once, twice a week.
Really?
I meet new people, or older people, or different people, like, especially in music, like,
Yeah.
ever since, like, we started the collective was the beginning of 2020, maybe end of 2019, and we really started to commit and get together with people and trying to do something and connect.
Yeah. I think in 2020, yeah.
Yeah, and it never stopped bringing in, like, first off, like, we all became better musicians, like, through one another. That's no question about it.
No question, yeah.
We all started to have opportunities, to release stuff, to more ears to our music, and more possibilities for ourselves to establish ourselves as musicians. Like, nothing but good things happen. It's challenging as hell. It's difficult. Like, doing this podcast, I wish I could have something consistent, at least twice a month, but just that is so difficult. And so challenging. But like, people who know me, and I tell you, I'm not one that gives up. I don't give up. It's hard, yeah. Like, I always say that when it gets hard and I want to give up, I remind myself, this is where most people give up. If you don't want to be most people, keep pushing. Have faith in you. Have faith in the universe. Keep doing what you know you should be doing.
Yeah.
Even if you discourage, even if some opportunity fell through, and you need to start from scratch again. Yeah, fuck that. This is the test.
Yeah.
This is the test. This is where most people give up, where most people lose faith. I don't want to be most people. I won't be most people. And I have no way to know whether or not I'll be successful, whatever that means. But I feel already that I am successful because I have one of the most, like, interesting and engaging life, and I meet these amazing people, all these opportunities, and everything moves, everything progresses, everything grows. What more do you want? What more do you want? Money that's not going to buy me what I already have.
You don't need much.
I don't, do I want a better car, a bigger house? Yeah, I would appreciate it, and it would be nice for sure. But do I need it? I don't.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
No. I'm a human being, obviously, and we live in that society,
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm having a blast doing it. It's difficult, but like, if you learn how to not give up on yourself, have faith, if you develop that faith, and it's not a religious, like, faith in God, it's but it is in a different sense, but it's not that simple. It's like, faith in you being, like, just you existing at all is so unlikely. It's almost technically impossible. But then you existing, being able to make music, existing at a time when we have the internet and all the technology to do all that, like, just that is so unlikely. Like, it has to have some sort of meaning, and, like, the meaning is the meaning that you decided it has. What you have, and this is going to be your life. You're going to suffer anyway. there's going to be pain involved anyway, whether it's a 9 to 5 job or you just commit to something, incredibly hard and unlikely to succeed. There's going to be pain involved. So that's a given. You need to learn how to deal with it when it happens. Faith in yourself, faith in the world, being submissive, being all right. I don't control anything, but maybe, like the universe, life sends me it's launching like a curveball, and it feels like it's unfair. It feels like it shouldn't happen, but it happens. So what are you going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to crumble? Go in a corner, sit down and cry? Or are you going to raise to the occasion and say, I will not be beaten. I will not give up. This is what I'm doing, and bring it on. I can take it. Most of what happens to us, we can take it.
Yeah. As I say to my fiance, I think I agree with her when she says this. God is not going to put something that you cannot handle.
Yeah, and I have no idea how to take like serious like illness and stuff like that. But when the time comes, I have this. Like it's going to be another test. Will I have faith? In face of something, this incredible. Will I and when someone tells you, oh, this is going to be the end soon, I better make sure that by this time I've done my best. Because once I don't know about paradise, I don't know about hell, I don't know about life after death. I know if I want my action to resonate through time after I'm dead, I need these actions to be significant. And this is difficult. And if I want, like, the best thing that I can think of that would be eternal life would be like someone like Mozart. Like he's been dead for centuries, but his impact on the world will live for millennia to come. Einstein, people like that. So this is eternal life. Like I don't know about the castle in the sky and whatnot. I cannot verify. Maybe it's there.
Because
you've
never been.
not.
You never been there before. So
yeah.
You never go.
I have to take like the most rational approach of eternal life is, all right, I'm going to die one day and it's going to be it. But what I do today can, take effect and have influence on the world for years, centuries, millennia to come. If that's eternal life, I better get to work. If that's what it takes to reach eternal life, whatever that means, but you having an impact for eternity potentially, you better get to work. You bet if and in religious term you have the straight and narrow and the small, like I don't know in English, the small door, and most will be crying and stuff like that. Like,
I know what you mean.
That's it. You better get to work. You better learn discipline and patience and work. So that if there's nothing at all after you go, you ensure that your legacy lives on. And that's a meaningful life. That's I love this idea. It works for me. It works perfectly for me.
but that's how it's supposed to be, man. Like you have to. It's only going to get one life to live. And if you only got one life to live, you don't know when tomorrow is going to be your last tomorrow. You better make it count. That's how I see it. Like if I'm making how we're talking about music, we're talking about life, and we're talking about other different topics. Like for me, I never want to say what if. Ever. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna get all the things I want to get. I may not want to do all the things that I want to do. But I think when it came to the music part of it, which is a big part of me, it was like at least I did that. I can live with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I put my best foot forward, and even maybe I'm not a multi-platinum producer or Grammy Award winning producer. At least some person that I have inspired to be, or who I look at and I'm inspired by. At least they see that, hey man, this guy's actually has talent.
Yeah.
I can live with that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But of course, me
Give it your best
want to
shot.
progress. Yeah, and of course, me wanting to progress. I have things that I want to do. You know, as far as my musical journey.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we were talking about the EP and all that. I had another concept. I was gonna do like a space, like some spacey instrumental, because I'm from the Space Coast. If you never heard of Elon Musk.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm not too far. I'm not too. Huh?
I love the guy actually.
You love him?
Yeah.
A lot of people like him. I mean, I'm cool. I don't hate him. He's pretty cool too. Yeah. But I live close to SpaceX. If you heard of the SpaceX program.
But I mean, he's trying hard in that sense.
Oh yeah.
You know, like you can debate, you know, whatever. But one thing you cannot say about the guy, like he's really trying. Like, we're talking about, you know, we better get to work and we better make sure that we leave a mark. Like he's doing that.
Yeah, he's that type of guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why, like I have huge, because it's not easy, and you can tell, like, since he, like, you know, it wasn't easy from the get go. He had challenges, like, even if he had money and whatnot, like he had huge challenges, like, you know, 2008, like the economic crisis, and he was just launching like electric car, and nobody believed in electric cars, and hit, like, all his investment, all his money, and he got hit by the worst financial crisis in decades. Like, you're bound to have some, you know, sweaty nights. So you were going sort of space.
I was saying, because you know who Elon Musk is, so I was saying I live close to the SpaceX facility. But so I say, because I live in the space
launches.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man,
I've seen some launches.
That has to be amazing.
It's crazy, man. And then sometimes I hear the building rumble, and I'll be like, "What is that?" Oh, it is another space launch. Oh, it's crazy. But yeah, my next instrumental is gonna be somewhat on a spacier, type
more like electronic music, is it?
It's gonna be more orchestra. Yes, it's sampling, still boom bapish, but it's gonna be more orchestration involved. So it's gonna have a lot of ethereal sounds in there.
Nice. I can't wait to. Have you started working on that already?
I started off with 2 tracks already. I started with a lot of tracks actually. I started maybe 3 or 4. It's funny with me when I'm producing. I try to make beats, just to make beats. And if it fits the theme, I'll put it to the side. I'd be like, okay, this beat could go to this particular project.
Yeah.
Or this beat could go to this particular project. So that's pretty much what I do, because if I'm trying to be locked in too much, it's better. I think it's better that way. I tried to, with the EP I'm dropping, I was actually more of like, okay, I'm just going to sample Chinese pop music and just do that. But then it gets boring when you do that. So it's like, okay, I'm tired of Chinese pop music or sampling that. Let me go try some soul music over here.
Yeah, like taking a break.
Yeah. Because I was beating Chinese pop music to death, man. I was beating it to death. But it was good music though.
Yeah.
Because the beats that I have on there are very on that orchestra tip. And the thing with pop music in China, that's how they make the music. Is a lot of instrumentation.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know much about Chinese music, Chinese culture, you know.
Me neither.
My girlfriend is Chinese, but like her grandparents migrated from China to Reunion Island, so she's 2 generations removed. Even though they still have a lot of the culture, like, and she does speak Chinese, but I don't. Like, she's not that much into music. Like through me, of course, she is, but she's much more into pastry and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. She likes to cook.
Yeah, well, actually, that's our business. Like, well, not really. We sell, like, we make and sell waffles, you know, in city center.
Yeah.
And she makes like a special recipe. Like this month, she has like with orange and lemon, like within the dough, and it's amazing. Like the dark chocolate. So we're having fun and we're being creative in that, and we always play some music, a lot of, you know, lo-fi hip hop and and stuff like that. So,
but that's the thing, man. Like those guys on our team, those guys are really good producers, and I would like to try to do more original compositions than the sampling. Even though I'm never going to get away from sampling, I would like to do some more original compositions. That's why I like the Spitfire so much, because I can do scores.
Yeah, but if like what I do, because I never really was digging into sampling like records and stuff like that, because I was always concerned with copyrights and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna play some piano and sample that. You can do that.
Yeah.
It's a similar process. It's not the same thing, obviously, but you know, it's kind of in between. And sometimes I play everything. Like right now, I just got a new German drum machine, so it's like it's a Behringer RD8. It's like,
I was gonna ask you what kind of drum machine it is.
Yeah, it's Behringer RD8. So it's if you know what it is, you know TR-808, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, so basically they took the same electronic circuitry and like you can buy it used for $200.
Okay.
And it sounds exactly like TR-808, but you have more modern, like you have MIDI over USB. It's fully analog. You know, it's not digital. It's not computer. It's the same circuits, like circuit boards and chips. And I don't know much about electronics, but it's kind of. And it sounds like an 808, but for like a fraction of the price. And I wasn't convinced because I'm not a big fan of Behringer in general. Like very few stuff that I tried that they did, I wasn't convinced. But this one was cheap enough. It was in my town. I looked in the classified. I called the guy. Great guy. We met. We keep in contact. He's making techno. And I just took my bike and got it. Like it was sunny. It was a nice bike ride. Like, and now I have a 808 sounding drum machine. That's amazing. So because of that, I'm playing more like you know, that kind of. I don't sample that much nowadays. I do that a lot.
Because with sampling, sometimes I'll usually use like different sounds or different samples.
Yeah.
And I love it to where I could take multiple sources to put them back together.
Yeah.
It's just so satisfying because it's like a magic trick.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just can't get away from it. But I understand with the copywriting.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's the thing with sample-based producers is the copywriting. For me, I don't like to sample a lot of known artists anyway.
Yeah.
I try to go for like the indie type samples. Yeah. I never gonna sample Michael Jackson or Marvin Gaye and none of that type of stuff.
Well, if you can afford it, it has to be interesting, but you have to be able to afford it and do it right. So I think, you know.
Oh yeah, also take the publishing, but I don't mind people taking the publishing because if the song's a hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might lose the money, but at least you know who I am.
Yeah, that's it.
And you'll be like, then I know the next record I'm gonna do, I know it's gonna pop even more because now I have an audience.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. So the thing with being in trouble with copywriting, I mean, you can use it to your advantage.
Yeah, actually, I never thought of it like that. You just blew my mind right now.
Yeah. I thought. I think I saw somebody said that like you can actually 100% your publishing, but look, if you made a really good song, if you was on that person's radar to make that song,
yeah.
Sure, you lost the money. You're not gonna make money off of it, but you're gonna have a whole shit ton of people that heard the song.
Can they actually prevent you from releasing the song?
No, if it's making money.
Yeah, they're not gonna. Yeah, the problem.
No, you just give them the publishing.
Yeah.
They'll make the money now. You're not gonna make the money though.
Yeah.
But if it's a hit and people know you produced it, you just have millions of audience at your disposal. So it's like okay, it's like you lost money in the front end, but you can make money in the back end.
Yeah, that makes sense. I genuinely never thought of that. You know, I was like, I was more like afraid, they're gonna, sue me or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't clear it, if you don't clear it, then they will. But that's why you have things like Tracklib that you could, go there and get the Class C sample and pay $50. You know.
Oh yeah.
So
that makes sense.
So it's cheaper now if you use Tracklib, but of course, Tracklib doesn't have all of the samples. They have a lot of samples, mind you, but they don't have every single sample out there. So you still have to go out there and try to, look for mysoul.fr, I believe, where you can get
French site?
a bunch of. Yeah, I can put in the chat for you.
Yeah,
it's called funkmysoul.gr, but I can put in the chat.
GR is Greece, I think.
Yeah, because it's not in USA. I think they done that on purpose.
Okay.
So if you go in the chat, I put it on the chat for you that link. You can get like different records.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I have a look. Actually, I did because the very few times like I used samples from other music. I think it was can I play a track that
by all means.
It's not public, and it should be all right with a sample on YouTube. It's an old sample.
Yeah, it should be fine.
All right.
I mean, did you make the beat with the sample, or are you just playing a sample?
No, I made a beat. I played some piano on it.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah. It's definitely not. You if you know the track, you'll recognize the sample. But most people won't know the track to begin with. Hang on.
Okay.
I just need to share the audio.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty cool track. Actually, I'd like to release it. It's kind of old already. Oh, what happens? Now it's sharing whiteboard. Hang on.
Yeah, like last time with me.
What did I do?
Is this the
Oh yeah.
That's basic. I think you have to go to advanced. You got to go to advanced and then computer.
I thought I did, but I didn't.
That's what happened to me. Yeah, same exact thing.
All right, here we go.
All right.
No, that's not the one. Hang on. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I like this track. It's a bit longer though.
That was dope.
Thanks, man.
I like the transitions and the progression of the track.
Yeah. It was almost like I never do that. Like I didn't even use that much hardware doing that. Like I think the samples I did all in Ableton, like the chopping and rearranging and stuff like that.
Mm.
It's from a movie from the 70s, something like a famous movie composer, but I forgot who exactly.
Was it Ennio Morricone?
No, not like like another Italian sounding name, but
Ovo Montenegro?
No.
There's a lot of them though.
Yeah, and that kind of the vibe, and I remember at the time because I don't know, I did like 2 tracks and like 2 beats, and one of the beats I put some a cappella on it, and I was surprised like it was some stupid a cappella, kind of R&B, kind of cheesy rap, but it like I just want to play you the end because
okay,
just the end, that's something good. Just the end. Come on, it's not. This is just a video of train, the Yamanote line in Tokyo.
All right.
I'm just gonna play the end because like I didn't have to change the pitch or anything. It's just I don't even know the original, but it's kind of kind of R&B or girl like Playboy kind of.
I gotta hear this. Now I gotta hear it.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna play you the end.
Alright.
So
like California, that's a 5-hour flight. She hot and cold, that's pure pneumonia.
that's basically
The way I put it on her, she need a substitution. I tear that ass up, can't get enough. Shout out to Q.
that was gonna be the part. I should have.
I like that. That was hard.
I like it, but it's like not very like deep or anything.
That was hard, man. I like that.
Cause I already know it's on your mind. And no, tonight the moon and the stars are alive. So I'll be looking for my zodiac sign. I'm talking about Aqua, Scorpio, Cancer, Leo, Taurus, Pisces, Virgo, Libra, Aries, Capricorn, Sag. Tonight somebody Aqua, Scorpio, Cancer, Leo, Gemini, Taurus, Pisces, Virgo, Libra, Aries, Capricorn, Sag. Tonight somebody
I just love this part.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's. I just slowed down the vocals at the end. You can hear it, but
Yeah.
it sounds like it was the original beat from the song.
Yeah, it actually fit perfectly with it.
It was. I just made the beat and just slapped a random acapella on it, and I was like, oh, this is sick.
That worked out. That worked out really, really well.
Sometimes just
You put that on SoundCloud. Is that on SoundCloud?
it's on YouTube.
Man, you put that on SoundCloud, man.
Yeah,
I think that gets some
okay
plays.
with that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they do mashups all the time.
Mm.
You just can't put it on Spotify, obviously, but
Yeah.
SoundCloud, absolutely, man.
I should try. I should put it on SoundCloud. It's like 2018, so the sound is very, very different now. And
I'll put that up there, man. That's dope because I want to play that.
all right, I send you the link.
All right, yeah, do that, man. Yeah, I want to hear it again.
I don't know. But I don't like doing remixes of stuff that I don't know. Like I don't know the original beat. Maybe it's an amazing beat. I don't know. But like I did some Nicki Minaj also. Also a remix. That's all. Yeah, and very rarely. Here we are.
That's what I need to do. I need to do more flips and mashups, but I hardly ever do that.
Well, I started doing that because in this forum at the early 2000s, so it's a French forum called Audio Fanzine. So it had a pretty big like hip hop community,
Yeah.
beat makers and stuff, and they were making like remix contests, and there was remix contests once a week.
Yeah.
And so they just gave an acapella, and everybody were doing their beats on top of that. So I got into that, and the thing is, like in France, people don't really like my music isn't really popular with the hip hop community in France. So
Okay.
I could never find an MC, and I really wanted to make beats for an MC. So since I couldn't find an MC, which I eventually did, back then, because so I just took acapellas from the internet.
Yeah.
And made some, to kind of showcase how it would sound with a voice and that kind of stuff. But the fun thing is, like at the time, like French hip hop community, like many people, oh, it's not sounding American enough. But if I was on an American forum, it was just like, oh, I'm gonna rap on that. And so I have more collaboration with people from the US. I don't remember ever collaborating with French rappers. Oh yeah. Actually, when we had a band in the early 2000, we had two rappers, but it was a little bit different. It wasn't really production. There was some, but yeah.
But
I can't send you like it's an old.
Yeah, do that. Yeah.
Old SoundCloud page, like beats, like it's from 2005, but the beats are actually older.
But no, I mean it's a French production crew named Alter Channel. Yeah. I don't know if you ever heard of them. No. Or Jupiter, aka. No. I don't even know who Kyo Itachi. I mean, you probably know. These are guys. These are boom bap type guys like Kyo Itachi, Isaiah, and Venom.
Well, the thing is, like for French,
like them guys. Them good guys are awesome.
Like me and French hip hop, like I don't like back then. I felt kind of rejected, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to go my own way. Okay. I did, and I don't have any resentment for that, but I stopped following, and it's not as exotic for me, than it may be for other people, because I'm guessing like most of the culture in the world is from the US. So if you are from the US, like something for France or Germany, or it's a little bit exotic, it's a bit different, obviously, but like while we do have some amazing artists, and we always had like with the French sensitivity, I don't feel as connected with it, and as other people. Like, I kind of It's not my. I don't know. You can tell. You know, when you listen from music from the UK, from Japan, from the US, you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
And you kind of click, and I can tell when it's French, and usually I don't really click with it. But I'm saying usually I can, like we could spend the next 10 hours, and I would play nothing but amazing French hip hop tracks. You know, so obviously we have great artists, but right now, like in the kind of underground collective, small labels, ever since I moved to Toulouse, which is the fourth largest city in France, I used to live in countryside right next to Germany. Now it's great, like a big city in southwest of France. So I kind of started to get together with producers here, and we have what we call loop sessions. It's like I just got into them as COVID started, but it was supposed to be like what it was before, like you would have like 5, 10 beat makers going one place, and we take one record and we all make our music with it all together.
Right. Yeah.
And now it's happening online. It's called Loop Sessions. So it's pretty great. Like actually, if you want to participate, it's almost every week. I can definitely, it would be great. Like you'd be welcome. Like obviously you don't speak French, like they all speak French, but I can give you they sample like a vinyl and
yeah.
And so I can send you the track, and I can relay your track to them, and it's going to be published on the SoundCloud page. It's not huge, but it's a small community, and they're nice actually. Some of them are pretty good. Right?
Yeah.
You know, obviously you have some beginners also, but it's nice. The guy who does this actually lives not right next to me, but very close, like 5 minute bike ride. And we do plan to actually try to see what we can do with that, and then maybe increase reach and there's some good things to be done. But ever since until I moved to a big city where I could actually meet other musicians, because where I was before, like I don't know if I was the only one, but I'd never met anyone else who was doing some production. It was really a small town, and
right,
like you had some techno guys, a huge influence from Germany, but nothing even in techno, like you really didn't have anyone that serious into it, So now I'm in Toulouse, and it's obviously I meet more people, and now with the shop also, we have a lot of artists who come by. We have this kind of community around our shop, and there are lots of artists, some musicians, and it's changing, and I'm getting a little bit more into French stuff, but I didn't keep up,
Yeah, but I listen to those three guys on the channel. Those guys are amazing. They make that boom bap type stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy. It's almost digging in the crates, DITC type stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you have to send me some links.
Oh yeah, I can send you one right now. I mean, I'm actually putting it in the Zoom chat. I don't know if you're looking at the Zoom chat.
No, I'm not, but I can.
Yeah, at the bottom where it says chat, I put like 2 links in there already.
Hang on. Chat. Yeah, I can see 2. So Funk My Soul.
Yeah, and I put Spitfire in there if you want to check it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's some good stuff in there. It's expensive.
Yeah.
It's super expensive. That's why that's why I use the Labs. The Labs version, because the Labs version is free.
All right.
You can just use that.
It's like a little bit more limited.
Yeah, it's more free, but it still good sounds though.
Yeah.
Sounding, it sounds really, really authentic. So, if anything, you can definitely use that for Ableton.
Are you also using Ableton, by the way?
I have Ableton, but I'm so weird, man. I just can't chop. I can't chop the way I like in Ableton.
Yeah,
but I have it though.
Like I just got Ableton 11,
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting, like, I used to have a real Fender Rhodes. So this is to say, I'm really, really picky because I don't have it anymore. Long story. So I'm really, really picky with Rhodes sound. They have to be just right. So there are a couple of plugins that I was used to. And in Ableton 11, they have Rhodes instruments.
Right.
They sound amazing. Like,
I heard them on the Instagram.
Wow. Like,
I was blown away.
Sound just right, just right. Like, and they have several different ones, and each like they have like, well, the FM one is easier, probably easier, but like they have the Mark 1, Mark 2, whatever, the dirty, clean, bright, and every one of them sound just right out of the box. You don't need any effects. Whereas you're gonna have to put some effects on, but you don't need just.
You need much.
Yeah, and just to jam and just it's. I'm blown away. They're really basically right now with Ableton, their instruments and everything, it's self-contained. You don't need anything else, and yeah, this is man. Like, I don't know what were we talking about before that.
Oh, besides Ableton? No, we before that we talking about Spitfire.
Spitfire Labs.
Some Spitfire, and then I mentioned about the sounds of being authentic, but you didn't mention with the Ableton 11 because the Rode, you say it sounds like
Yeah, but to Spitfire Labs, I'm sure it might be limited compared to the expensive version, but even limited stuff right now. You can
still good.
Yeah, I was saying to the other guy the other day, one thing we need to keep in mind though, 200 years ago, some of the most deep and beautiful pieces of music were composed with pen, paper, and piano.
That's it. That was it.
And some were just performed on a piano.
Yep.
So even though we have all these instruments and we convince ourselves and
need more.
I'm guilty. More. Yeah, I need more. I could do that if I had this and whatnot. But if you really have this drive to make music, if you just have a computer, you just have a smartphone. Yeah, that's enough.
It's enough. Yeah.
Enough. You don't need some of the best music that was written on a cell phone with FL Mobile is a million times more than that,
Yeah, because you did say somebody making fire beats on the FL Mobile. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to get that then. I need to go download that right now. But then I got the koalas. I'm like, okay, I already don't need a FL Mobile. But hey, who knows? I might put them both together. You never know.
You can probably
because you can.
Yeah,
you can. You have software that can do that. Because I have an EUM. I think it's called EUM. Where you can actually pair different apps together.
Oh.
So you can do that. Yeah.
I'm yawning because it's
late. I know it's late where you at.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm still.
What time is it over there?
It's about midnight.
Damn.
Right, Da, 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 da.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, but I'm getting back from work. I think all right. We can still discuss a little bit after that. Let's just wrap up the episode. So yeah, that was King Form for Patterns Podcast. Please do subscribe, comment, whatever. You say you don't say whatever. I shouldn't say whatever, actually.
No, you shouldn't say. No, you should say whatever.
No, but
like, subscribe.
Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
Not whatever. Nah, fuck that.
Listen to the music. No whatever. That is important. This is important. All right. So like, comment, subscribe, and looking at how things are right now, we have a few other podcasts lined up already. So hopefully there's going to be some more regularity. We're working on that.
Absolute.
I know. Hopefully, you know, when I have another project, you know, I'll definitely do this again. This is a great conversation. Not only talk about music, but just talking about life in general. And,
we just scratch the surface.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah, we brush a lot of things, but you know, we could always maybe have another one where we can just talk on